So everyone is talking about AI, but let's be real. For a lot of companies, it feels kind of stuck, right? You see this incredible potential, but the day-to-day reality, it's often messy, confusing, and just unreliable. Well, today, we're going to unpack a framework that changes all that. Think of it as a clear map that can guide you from that raw, chaotic AI capability to real, lasting business value. To kick things off, let's do a little thought experiment. I want you to imagine you walk into work tomorrow morning and bam, a brand new AI model has just appeared. No rollout, no beta testing, it's just there. And let's call it something fun, like Super GPT 5000. And this thing, it's just incredible. It gets nuance, it can analyze the most complex legal documents in seconds. It writes thoughtful business plans, reviews contracts, even generates clean software. It is a massive leap beyond anything we have today. So, of course, what does your company do? It turns it on for everyone, effective immediately. At first, the excitement is just off the charts. People are getting these amazing results and it feels like magic. But then something weird starts to happen. Two people ask it a similar question and they get wildly different answers. One team absolutely loves it. Another team has already given up on it. You're hearing these incredible success stories and total failure stories, sometimes from people sitting right next to each other. The expectation of this miracle tool just slams into a very, very messy reality. So what is going on here? I mean, the model didn't suddenly get dumber. The work didn't change overnight. Why does this unbelievably powerful AI suddenly feel so inconsistent, so unreliable, the second it touches real-world operations? And this right here is the absolute key. The model isn't missing intelligence. It's missing operational context. It's just like a brilliant new hire on their first day. They might be a genius, but they have no idea what your company's rules are, which database is the real source of truth, or how work actually gets done around here. Raw talent is never enough. Which brings us to the core idea we're going to be exploring. Value doesn't just magically appear from raw capability. No. Value shows up when that capability is placed inside a structure of clear rules, reliable data, and well-defined workflows. Okay, so how do we build that structure? That is exactly where the AI business maturity model comes in. You should really think of it as a map for navigating this brand new territory. It's a framework for turning all that raw AI potential into actual concrete business value. Now, the model breaks this whole journey down into 5 distinct levels. You start as the bystander, where AI is just kind of happening around you. Then you move up to the operator and the observer, which frankly is where most of us are right now, using AI as a co-pilot or an analyst. But the future stages, the orchestrator and the integrator, that's where AI starts managing whole processes and even driving physical automation. Each level builds on the one before it, and let me tell you, trying to skip a level is a classic recipe for disaster. So let's make this practical. How do you find your place on this map? The key here is not to try and label your entire company. That's a mistake. Instead, think in terms of specific workflows, like, say, customer onboarding or processing invoices. Your marketing team might be a solid level 2, while your finance team is still at level 1. So let's figure out where you really are. Let's start at the beginning. Level 1, the bystander. At this stage, AI is happening around your work, but you are not intentionally using it for your work. Think about your spam filter or Google search results. It's all incidental, it's unconscious, and it's basically invisible to the organization. You'll hear leaders at this stage say things like, "Oh, we're not using AI," or, "that stuff is for the big tech companies." The funny thing is, their people are almost certainly using it. It's just happening in the shadows, totally informally, with zero guidance. So here's a quick self-check for level 1. For a specific workflow, are there any officially approved AI tools? Does anyone on the team actually know what the rules are? If the answer to both is no, and any use is happening off the books, well, you're looking at a bystander workflow. Okay, from there, we move up to level 2, the operator. And this is where most of the business world is sitting right now. At this level, you are intentionally using AI, but it's very much a co-pilot. It only does something when you specifically ask it to. You are still in the driver's seat for every single task, every single time. The classic line you'll hear from people at level 2 is, "This is amazing, but I have to babysit it," right? It can get you 80% of the way to a finished product in minutes, which is awesome, but that last 20%, that still needs heavy human review, because the AI just doesn't have your specific operational context. The signs of a level 2 workflow are super clear. AI is mainly being used in a generic chat window. the outputs need a ton of editing. And all the best results seem to depend on a couple of power users who figured out the magic words to type. The problem is, all that value stays trapped with those few individuals. Now, here is why this is all so urgent. Think about this. ChatGPT launched in November 2022. Back then, pretty much everyone was at level 1. Today, the big push is to get to level 3. Now look forward. 2029 is as far in the future as late 2022 is in the past. That's when we hit the age of AI agents and true automated execution. Getting your foundation right now, is not optional. It's critical. And that big push is toward level 3, the observer. And this is a huge leap. We're not talking about a chat box anymore. Here, the AI is connected directly to your live business data. It's continuously watching your systems, analyzing trends, and sending you alerts in real time. The upside here is incredible. You suddenly have total visibility. You can see everything that's happening. But this creates a brand new problem. The common feedback at level 3 starts to sound like this. We have way more alerts than we can possibly act on. Human attention and our ability to make decisions, that becomes the new bottleneck. Okay, so knowing all 5 levels is great. But for most organizations, the single most important step is the very first one, making that critical shift from the invisible, informal use at level 1 to the intentional, structured use you see at level 2. This is where most AI initiatives get stuck. And they often get stuck because of something called governance theater. This is what happens when leadership creates policies and approves certain tools, but those approved tools are clunky or slow or just not very good. So what do? They find a workaround. They use unapproved tools to get their real work done. And look, this isn't a user failure, it's a design failure. So if you're trying to manage this transition, here is the single biggest takeaway, the one non-negotiable rule. The official approved AI path must be the path of least resistance. It has to be better, faster, and easier than the unapproved ways. When the tool you've sanctioned is also the best tool for the job, adoption happens naturally and your risk becomes manageable. When you really get down to it, bringing AI into your operations is a forcing function. This journey through the maturity model forces you to get crystal clear on things you've probably left ambiguous for years. The AI basically asks the same questions any smart new hire would, and it starts with the most basic one. What actually matters here? And then it asks the next critical question, the one that really defines the huge gap between level 2 and level 3. Where does the truth live in this business? Which systems, which dashboards, which data sources are the ones we can actually rely on? If you don't have a clear answer, the AI will give you inconsistent, untrustworthy results, just like any confused employee would. And finally, as you start to look towards those future levels, towards orchestration and integration, the model forces you to answer the most important question of all. Who decides? Where do decision rights live in this organization? When there's a trade-off to be made, who has the final say? Answering these questions isn't really just about preparing for AI, it's about building a better, smarter, more effective organization. The AI just makes the need to answer them completely impossible to ignore.